All right, we're back, ladies and gents. I think it's been about 2 days since we last updated. We had a little bit of an issue on the torque converter bolts that hold the flex plate were a little seized up. So fortunately ran out of time Sunday night, and obviously we both had to work in the morning, so decided to call it quits, come back at another day. So now it's Tuesday, but gonna film it, but it kind of got dark, and like I said, there's really no point in trying to film outside the garage when it's dark. Luckily in here we do have a little bit better lighting. But basically, torch on these 4L80s and the 6.0s, I don't know if it's all of them, but some of them have Allen head bolts. Fun fact, not a hex head. So we, had to get the Allen, pull it free, and basically once we heated them up, it basically came right out. But we got it on the engine stand now. We're basically going to start tearing apart these accessories, pop the valve covers off, just take a look, see how sludgy it is in there. And then probably we'll be done for majority of the week while we wait on parts to show up. But we might see, a couple different little things going on throughout the week. Maybe if we get bored or something like that. So we'll see. But definitely first things first is getting these accessories off, getting a little cleaner up front. Because I believe we're going to go a different route than the truck accessories, just to be simpler. Maybe looking at the Corvette or the Camaro spacing stuff, just to save some room. But we will update you once we get some accessories off. Alrighty, about 10 minutes later, everything's off the front, as you can see. No big deal, that's pretty standard stuff. We're gonna pop this valve cover off real quick and just see what kind of grime we got. So, go ahead. Go ahead and lift it. Not too shabby, a little bronzy, but I mean, it's not much sludge in there. Move out of the way real quick. Yeah. Here, grab that light from me real quick. Set down, you're fine. Just want to shine some light in here so we can see a little better. Thank you. Yeah, that's not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. Let me, no, sorry, I don't know if that's... Just put this back up here again. Got this little magnetic light. Oh, come on. Really? It's like I adjust the thing and it pops.
It's nice when it works.
It's really nice, but for what we're doing. Just want to check and see if any are loose. That's... Probably no preload on those right now. I don't necessarily see anything going wrong, so let's pop the other side off just to see, but it should be pretty much the same, more than likely. There's coolant on this tarp below us, if you can see, but slippery. It ain't gonna fall off the way it's kind of captured. Ooh. These ones, about the same. They look a little darker maybe in color, but just check for anything loose. Same thing. A little side to side there. I mean, you're probably good for some new trunnions. You got a little bit of slop in the trunnions, it seems like. But I think overall we're going to be A-okay. So... yeah, do got a lot of grime though. I don't know if you guys saw on this timing cover and valley cover. Something was leaking. My guess was because we pulled the, it's in that van, it's got that dipstick that comes out. That was pretty loose on the oil cap area, and it doesn't sound like captured, I don't think. So more than likely, when they kept filling oil in this thing, probably just leaking out and dumping over the front of this motor, is my guess, but... Obviously, we'll put new gas and stuff on it and freshen it up, but I have seen a couple things that have been replaced. Like I think the rear main seal has been replaced already on this one, based on the fact that we've seen some RTV that doesn't look factory. And I think the water pump, because for being 215,000 miles, I don't think these gaskets would look that good. I don't think, but who am I? I'm an idiot. So, pretty much it's going to be up to Chaden now if he wants to pull a head off or not, but he can. It's not really a big deal. But we'll see what we do. If not, we'll catch you on the next update. We're going to do this kind of tear down as one video, so it might be through a couple days, but I want to keep this thing going. All right, we'll see you on the next part. All right, as you can see, we do got the 6.0 heads apart. Cylinders look pretty good. No rock in the pistons or nothing like that. Lifter boards clearly need to be just cleaned up a little bit. A couple lifters were, I wouldn't say hung up, but it's a little gritty coming out of the bore, so we'll clean those up a little better. Only thing we found was I think we're going to go ahead and send these heads off to get cleaned up. The actual maiden surface doesn't look bad per se. You know, you run your fingernail across them, nothing really hangs up on them. I don't know if it's this head. I think it might be the other head. I think it's the other head, and I'm not going to move it right now, but basically looks like one of the valves is just slightly hanging open, so we can probably, you know, lap it and clean it up, and it might seat again. But with them being 6.0, 317 heads, it'd be pretty beneficial if, you know, we either got these ones, you know, milled and cleaned up and got them ported, or if we go and find, like I said, 243 or something like that, just to give them a little bit more oomph behind it. But we'll see what the budget allows. I'm just thinking, you know, while we're in here, you might as well do something. You know, everyone knows these 317 heads are not very good for these 6.0s, so we can find something else probably better. But yeah, the lifter or the cylinder bores, nothing really sticks out to me on them. You can run your fingernail up and down all the piston walls, and nothing really hangs or nothing like that. Just looks like a grimy 6.0 is really what it looks like. So I think we're gonna pull the oil pan off and just take a look at the bottom end real quick. But mainly the reason we're doing that right now is just so we can put, you know, a little bag over here and seal this up a little better so it's not sitting out. But I think we should have a good runner here once we just do a couple little things. I don't know if you guys can hear that in the background, but we've got Corey Butcher over here on the live. It's Tuesday night, so we're watching him from the garage. If you don't know who he is, he's with We Broke Garage. Give him a follow, like. He does his Facebook Lives every Tuesday at 8 o'clock. He's got the YouTube channel and a lot of stuff. Great guy. We met him at Six Smokies, actually, and he's been a huge help to us. He's actually, let me take you over here. This is the Nova, if you guys haven't seen it. If you're on the TikTok, you probably have seen it, but if you're on the YouTube, probably not. Let's see if we can see here. You might not be able to see it. Oh, you kind of can. That spacer between the block and the alternator, that's a socket, actually. And we were throwing belts at the very beginning of Six Smokies before we even did any testing, and we were trying to figure out what was going on. And Corey walked up, he's like, "Hey, man, you're missing a spacer there." And I'm like, "Oh, shit." And I'm like, "Oh, I gotta go find a spacer now." I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna go find one. He's like, "You got a socket set?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "There's probably one that'll fit right there." And I was like, "Let me see." Sure enough, I think it's a 7/8 socket. Pulled it out, almost the exact same length and everything as the spacers that come with this kit. Threw it on there, never thrown a belt. We run this thing out to about 7,000 RPM on the shift. So, you know, he's a definitely a guy that knows his stuff. We had transmission issues, and he kept, you know, just pushing us to keep going. But I think that's going to do it for this part of the video. Like I said, when we get some more parts in and stuff, we'll probably update you guys. That way we can get the 6.0 more squared away and then get into that SN95. We'll give you guys a tour here soon about. But yeah, we'll see you guys soon. Alrighty, everyone, we're back. Last time you saw an update on this thing, it was Tuesday. It is now Saturday evening. It's pouring rain outside, so we're closed up here in the shop. As you can tell, we got this thing flipped upside down, drained some oil out of it. We're going to take this oil pan off and just see what we find out. And just with some movie magic, the pan is off. Just make sure that you pop off the 13 millimeter on the block for the oil cooler lines. That way you're not fighting that the entire time and then realize that it's not going. But we're going to pop this windows tray off, this pickup tube, and we're going to take a look at the bottom end real quick. And just like that, ladies and gents, some more movie magic. The windows tray is off. We kind of did some spinning around. Everything looks pretty good inside the motor. We made the conscious decision after talking over it We're going to leave everything as is. This is a high mileage motor, so we were talking about doing a ring gap and all that kind of stuff and just checking everything over a little bit more, but honestly, we're just going to send it on this one. At the end of the day, like Mr. Chaden said, if it's gonna run, it's gonna run. All right, so next step, we're gonna get this balancer pulled, timing cover off, and cam out. I just gotta wait for my wife to come back with the truck because we left the tool inside of it. So hopefully she'll be here the next 30 minutes or so, and we'll get started on that. And then we do have some colors picked out for this block that we're gonna leave a little bit of a mystery for right now. But let's just say he's gonna be back in black. Bada boom, bada bing, the balancer is off. If you guys don't know, you can go to AutoZone and actually rent this puller right here. It is OEM 57139. It does say Chrysler harmonic balancer puller, but if you actually read reviews, and actually here in the paperwork, it says puller also works on many GM engines. Works perfect. On our setup with the truck pulley, we used the third to longest one at first, and then we went up to the last one, and it came right off. Really was no struggle for this one. But yeah, so we're gonna pull this timing cover apart and pull this cam next, so we'll see you in a second. And just like that, timing cover is off. As you can see, you have access to your timing gear, your oil pump, and your cams will be right behind there. So we're gonna take all this apart here too. He is doing a new oil pump. We'll actually go over the parts list that we have kind of assembled for this at the end of this video. But yeah, new oil pump is gonna be on the way. So we're gonna take this one off, get the timing pulled. We're just gonna make sure we get the dots lined up on that first, and then we'll go from there. Alrighty, so oil pump's off. As you can see, we went ahead and spun the motor over. I don't know if you guys can see. I don't have a free hand right now, but dot on the timing sprocket there, and then dot on the oil pump on the crank right there is facing each other, and the piston on the bottom is in top dead center. So that's how we know everything's lined up. So we're gonna be free to pull this cam pulley off, or cam gear off, sorry, and then we can basically pull everything off. So we'll update you when the cam's out. And now for the moment of truth, he gets to pull his cam out for the very first time. I can tell he's a little nervous about it, but it should be no big deal. Yep. He's just being very gentle. There you go. He's just being really careful not to knock out cam bearings, basically, is what he's worried about, because then instead of it being sloppy, we get to do a little bit more of a machine build here. And his wallet's saying no to that. There you go. That's the cam. I'm going to show everyone at home. Hold on, let me get the little light right here. 1 second, guys. All right, so here's the cam. Yeah, you definitely can see it's, been in there for a little bit, but not seeing anything too major. Are you? Anything ate up or anything like that?
No,
just a little worn, but I mean,
about what you see. I see a couple spots where it's nicked or something like that happened.
I do see that, yeah, on that lobe right there. It does look a little. But like I said, we're doing new lifters and everything like that, so that shouldn't be that big of a deal.
She definitely has been in there for 210,000 miles.
But I think we're going to be okay. So why don't we go inside for a second here, and we're going to give you guys a little update on the parts we've selected for this 6.0 build and what cam he's going with. And we're going to go from there. But at this point, basically, we're waiting on Summit to give us our parts. We should have them later next week. As you guys know, the country does have a snowstorm / ice storm moving through. So unfortunately, parts got delayed from Monday all the way back to, you said Wednesday or Thursday?
Yeah, that's what they said, is Wednesday or Thursday.
But no big deal. We can wait. It's just a big thing of hopefully everyone over there doesn't have any much damage and everyone doesn't lose power. Yep. But that's going to be it. And you guys can take a peek at the cam bearings. Kind of. Not really. They look like they're there, so that's what matters. All right.
I didn't pull them out.
We'll see you guys inside. All right, just a little transition inside. Like I said, we're going to go over some parts that we have ordered for this thing. And I'm going to let Mr. Chayton take over.
So we're looking at a couple things here, mainly stage 3 turbo camshaft. That's one of the big things. Got some lifters, they're going to be LS7 lifters. Also going to be getting LS9 head gaskets, and we are looking at getting a turbo for the car. We're not certain on which one yet. Currently looking at the 80 mil from VS Racing. Seems like a pretty good option for what we're doing, especially going the single turbo option. Some people are saying go bigger, some are going, a lot of people actually are doing twin, what was it, 73s? 78s, sorry. A lot of people are doing that stuff, but we think it's a little too much for right now. So we're going to try and stick to the single, and 80 seems like a good number. And we'll see where we're at, but we're not sure if we're going to have the turbo quite yet. We're still figuring out budget-wise where we're at and where we'll be at once it's time to put a turbo in the car. Alrighty, so that was the disassembly of the 6.0 that's going into SN95. So as you can see, we got some parts on order. The camshaft's on its way already, so we will be getting that no matter what. You guys already got a little hint into what color the block's going to be. It's not black. It's not that easy. So think a little harder on it, and maybe you'll get there. Put your guesses in the comments, and we will let you know if you're right. Maybe we will. Maybe we won't. But that's going to be it for this video, and we will see you guys in the next one.
Peace.